Patrick Williams is entering his fourth year in the league at 21 years old. After missing most of his second season due to injury, some concerns started to rise that he might not have been worth the 4th overall pick that the Bulls used to draft him in 2020. Today, however, Patrick Williams is starting to look more and more like the player that we hypothesized over all those years ago. The potential is starting to be realized. This past season, Patrick Williams became one of the most consistent three-point threats for the Bulls, cementing himself as a certified 3-and-D player, adding on to his already impressive defensive resume, blocking shots, getting steals, and defending the opposing team's best player each night. He's still getting better with crashing the boards, as we're going to take a look at a little bit later. But let's take an in-depth look at how Patrick Williams' game has evolved this past season, including an interesting comparison to one of his teammates that I think you guys will like. Thank you guys for checking out this video. If you enjoy it, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more. So, let's start by taking a look at how his shooting has come a long way, starting with his three-point shooting ability. Patrick Williams established himself as a reliable three-point shooting option this season, becoming the Bulls' best three-point shooter by efficiency over the entire course of the season. He averaged 42% from three on 3.4 three-pointers attempted per game. Let's not lose sight of the fact that Patrick Williams is 6'8", 215 pounds. So we're talking about a guy who can run the floor, who can shoot three-pointers more efficiently than anybody else on the Bulls this past season, who can block shots, get steals, score under the basket. I mean, it's just the full package sometimes when Patrick Williams is playing at his best, when he's hitting these wide open three-pointers, which was something he wasn't able to do earlier in his career. Something we couldn't rely on him for has now become one of his strong suits. That's a huge development. And it's an encouraging sign that he's not hesitating on taking these threes. The decisiveness is there. It's one thing to be able to stand in the corner and take a three-pointer every now and then. It's another thing to be able to create your own shots in the mid-range. And that's another element that Patrick Williams has added to his game this past season. And it might be the most intriguing development of all. The Bulls really lacked three-point shooting this past season, so Billy Donovan a lot of the times did use Patrick Williams as a three-point shooter on the outside because he's so good at it. But the few times we saw him flash this mid-range creation ability, it got me really excited, because that's an element of his game that can take Patrick Williams from being a good player to a great player. Pat is creating separation for himself from his defender, using dribble moves, and then hitting the shot. As I started to analyze more of P. Will's offensive tape, an interesting trend started to emerge. See, Patrick Williams spent last offseason training with DeMar DeRozan, taking part in his notoriously grueling early morning workouts, and that's starting to be shown in his game. DeMar operates in the mid-range in a certain way. He gets to his spots, and Pat has definitely taken after that, where it looks like he gets to his spots. He has an array of different moves. He has, that turnaround step back jumper. He has a bit of a crossover move. He sticks his shoulder into guys. So Pat spent all that time with DeMar. You can see it in the tape that Pat has taken after DeMar in those ways. And it sounds like it's going to happen again this offseason. DeMar said any player under 24 is going to join him for his offseason workout. So shout out Patrick Williams. He's definitely taken that mentorship and adapted it to his game. Next up, let's talk about Patrick Williams' interior presence, because he's more than just a shooter, and that's kind of where he's made his bread and butter early on in his career. Something that Pat's still struggling with and still developing is his ability to box out, which definitely hurt the Bulls at times this season when they gave up offensive rebounds. But you can see when Pat is engaged on the boards, those second chance points are so key. He can use his length and athleticism to grab the rebound and either score over someone or straight up score through them. He draws fouls and gets to the free throw line when he's playing like this. It's a very engaged mindset, and it shows to that aggressive behavior or nature that some fans have been looking for from Pat. Now, it's not every single time that he hits these shots, and it's not every single time that he converts those big dunks that he goes up for. We've seen many times this season where he's gone up for a huge poster and didn't complete it. But it's so encouraging to see that he's trying, he has the right mindset, and I trust that eventually more of these shots will start to fall. And you can see when these shots are falling, it's really exciting. Now, it's hard for Pat to get a healthy amount of touches with all the Bulls' offensive options right now. So going into next season, I think that's one of the questions AK and company have to answer. Is Pat one of the guys for the future? Finally, let's just enjoy some highlights of Patrick Williams wreaking havoc on opposing offenses, because it's just enjoyable to watch. Alright, yeah, let's just enjoy some Patrick Williams defense highlights. I love seeing him get these blocks. He's got the paw, that big hand, those long arms, he's got long legs, and he's so fast and quick. He's able to switch and cover a lot of ground. He's versatile, he's switchable, you know, he can play that small ball 5 position that Billy Donovan has used him in. So not only can he defend the paint, but he's also one of the best perimeter defenders in the entire league. According to JJ Redick, and this stat came from during the season, so I'm not sure if it's accurate to the end of the season, but when guarding in direct isolation, Patrick Williams was the best defender in the league, yet he allowed the fewest points when guarding in direct isolation. So that's pretty incredible for a guy who, again, can also play as a small ball center. That kind of versatility and switchability makes Patrick Williams one of the most valuable players on the Bulls headed into the future. Okay, so at this point in the video, I've collected a few minutes of Patrick Williams' defense highlights, but I don't really have anything else to say other than I really enjoy watching him play defense, and he's one of the most important players on the Bulls because of that. So go ahead, just enjoy watching Patrick Williams play defense without my annoying voice over the top. So, we've taken a close look at how Patrick Williams has evolved his offensive game. At just 21 years old and entering his 4th year in the league, after missing almost an entire season, he still has so much room to grow, and he's shown us so much already. Let's get rid of this myth that Patrick Williams is not an aggressive player, because he clearly has spots on the floor he likes to shoot from, and we've seen him try night after night to put dudes on a poster. He's definitely an aggressive player. I think it's just been tough for him to figure out his role with so many other veteran, established, legendary scorers on his team playing alongside him. So it's definitely an interesting situation headed into next season where we don't really know what's going to happen with the rest of the roster. Patrick Williams will most likely be here to stay, but it begs the question, are they ready to start investing in him as a player for the future? Because making him ride the bench isn't really helping his development. And again, he's only 21 years old, 4th year in the league. The Bulls are going to have to figure out a contract situation with him soon. Why is he riding the bench? I think Patrick Williams is going to be a starter in this league for a long time, so it's more sooner or later when that's going to happen. Pat has had normal growing pains for a young player with high expectations. I want Bulls fans to take a look at this year's most improved player, Lauri Markkanen, as an example of a guy that we maybe gave up on a little bit too soon. Now for Lauri, he probably did need that change of scenery for him to be able to become the player he is today, but for Patrick Williams, the tape is here. We've seen the flashes. I think he might be ready to make that step, make that leap even, here in Chicago. Will he become a superstar? Will he stay a role player? Only time will tell. But the tape is there, the proof is in the pudding. Patrick Williams is definitely a guy, and he's a guy to watch going forward. Hey, thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more. I really do appreciate you checking out these videos that I've been making lately. Again, I've been having a lot of fun making them. So you can follow me on all those platforms at ShySportsRoss is the handle, and we will talk again very soon.